That doesn't mean he didn't come to visit. So he could have come before to visit. He could have been a regular visitor, a tourist. That is possible. Because now, the main point of this girl, she was born in Soweto. So she's born in Soweto.
Yeah.
She grew up in South Africa, born and raised in South Africa.
But do we have records of that? The thing
Well,
I
googled that. I googled that.
No. You can't just Google something and read something that is written.
Wait.
Have we seen records? Have we seen records from Home Affairs?
Where will we see the record?
They're there in Home Affairs.
No, but
they're supposed to be released. If something is
released by who?
Released by Home Affairs officials.
To prove what? To prove what point?
Clarify the whole thing.
To who? To the community, to the public?
Yeah, to the public.
But there's no case on this girl.
An ongoing investigation by Home Affairs has found prima facie indications of fraud committed by Chidimma Adetshina's mother. The Department of Home Affairs here.
Yeah. You know what, Agwan, man. You know, gotta get to the holiest of holy mountains before. Yeah, man, get into my prayer.
Just before we discuss this big African thing.
Yeah, man.
That we have upon us.
Is
it a problem or a solution?
You're talking about what happened afterwards or the whole concept around it?
The whole concept around it, like having someone who's born in the country, but then, rumor has it that both parents are not from SA. And then now she is entering a pageant that is meant for South Africans. And she has the citizenship, but then is she a South African?
Now, what constitutes someone to be South African? First of all, it's by birth, right?
Yeah, and again, if we go to the Constitution, it says if someone is born in South Africa to parents who are here legally, yes, then that person, when they are born, automatically they get citizenship. Yes.
But I just feel like what really is going on is people being misinformed in a way, maybe not even knowing first of all the Constitution, because right now I just feel like the biggest upset is that she got foreign parents, and then now this thing is misinformation in the sense of like they're making it seem like people who are not from South Africa shouldn't participate in South African competitions. And then now, who is South African first of all? The original South African.
I think the original South African will be someone who's born to South African parents. Obviously that's the original. And then there is the original, someone who's born to one of the parents being a national South African. And then now again we come to the definition of what we call people getting citizenship. After a certain number of years, they also gain nationality for that country, meaning that they're no longer regarded as foreigners in some aspects. Like in football, if somebody comes here and plays for 5 years, or you go into a country and you work for 5 years, automatically you become a citizen of that country. Yes. But then now, when we come back to the issue of the lady, what's her name, by the way?
Yeah, it's Chidimma Adetshina,
Adetshina
or something like that. But like I feel like
but just one question there after you give me the name. Why isn't she having like one South African name, like Chidimma, what this and that?
Personally, I just feel like it doesn't really matter. Secondly, I just feel like people are just actually being xenophobic. Because now, when I ask you the first question on who is original South Africa, who is the original South African?
Sure.
I wanted to go back to the original settlers of South Africa.
Sure.
Now, when we talk about the original South African, the first people who settled here are the hunter-gatherers and the Hottentots.
Sure.
Now, when we talk about today, and then we talk about the majority of the black people that are in South Africa, which is the Bantu people. Where do the Bantu people originally come from? They're not South African.
Come from all over Africa.
Because so now, because apparently the Bantu people, because they migrated from Western Central Africa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We come from all over Africa.
So now this concept of someone being South African or not being South African, you originally were not South African.
Okay.
Now, what happened was when colonialism came through, because now before colonialism, everyone was just moving in and around Africa. No one was a foreigner.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, because now the borders, people protecting their rights, people protecting their interest in Ghana, people protecting. So now they say there's something called foreigners.
Okay, all right.
And now when we look at who are the Bantu people, so the Bantu people are the Sutus, the Xhosas, the Zulus, the Vendas, the Tswanes, the Tsongas, Swazis, and the Beles. So all of them,
just put them in one second.
all of them,
for the sake of time,
we come from Western Central Africa.
Sure.
So now, if we come from Western Central Africa, and this woman who is a Nigerian and Igbo, so she comes from Nigeria and Cameroon countries, we are actually closely related to her than we are maybe to the country.
All right, just I'm not taking any sides. I won't be taking any sides.
We just having a conversation.
I mean on my side, just to challenge what you're saying now. Let's say a South African who's gonna be born in Nigeria, and then they automatically get the Nigerian citizenship.
Yeah.
And then they contest such pageants in Nigeria. Do you think, wouldn't that get a backlash from the Nigerian nationals?
No.
Do you think the Nigerians would actually back a South African or maybe a Nigerian South African to contest a pageant and be the face of the country?
Let me give you an example of how this is biased.
Yeah.
How this is biased.
Sure.
In rugby, there's this guy.
Beast, Mtawarira.
Yeah, Mtawarira.
Sure.
Not South African.
Yeah.
Even his name says that.
Yes,
Mara now, because he helps us win, he gets to be
Mtawarira.
he gets to be glorified.
Sure.
He gets to be glorified. When you look at France, they take all the African people
and then they get to be glorified.
They get to be glorified.
So
What my point is that if somebody comes to your country and tries to contribute something, because right now what this lady will be doing is just raising the South African flag high.
Are we sure she's raising the South African flag high?
No, right now, because right now she will be Miss South Africa. Wherever, because right now, we cannot say maybe she's
but
staying.
Then, listen, as much as she is Miss South Africa, there's a / Nigerian.
What? Okay, so what does that have to do with anything?
That has to do with everything about the pageant, bro. It's like when you do something that is sacred for the country and then you have someone from outside. It's like you, the Tsonga people, when you do something and then you tend to have someone who is a Pedi or a Zulu who tries to come and have a say in there. Do you know what does that do? Now, the reason everything is fun. The reason why this is fun is because it was never a problem until she got to the top 11.
Yeah. It means now, all over South Africa now. Sure. Foreigners are competing with South Africans as South Africans.
Yes. Let's debate on that point. So foreigners are competing with South Africans, and for the longest of time it has been avoided. And now people are starting to say, away with this thing, where now you have opportunities that are for local people, then you have people who came in here through the back door competing for the same opportunity with those people.
So now you see, the problem is the backdoor people.
Yes.
But apparently this one, both the parents were in South Africa legally.
But then the father had an interview not so long where he said he came here in 2010. Okay. And if you count how old the girl is, she's not 14.
Okay, so I don't understand.
The father was interviewed not so long. He said he came here in South Africa in 2010. Okay. I don't know whether to study or for the World Cup. Yeah. And then now, if you came here in 2010, if we do the math and the math goes and math, it means the girl is supposed to be 14. She is 24. So what does that tell you about the time where he came here?
But wait. He could have said he came to settle here in 2010. That doesn't mean he didn't come to visit. So he could have come before to visit. He could have been a regular visitor, a tourist. That is possible. Because now, the main point of this girl, she was born in Soweto. So she's born in Soweto.
Yeah.
She grew up in South Africa, born and raised in South Africa.
But do we have records of that?
Well, I googled that.
No. You can't just Google something and read something that is written.
No, wait.
Have we seen records? Have we seen records from Home Affairs?
Where will we see the record?
They're there in Home Affairs.
No, but
they're supposed to be released. If something is
released by who?
Released by Home Affairs officials.
To prove what? To prove what point?
Clarify the whole thing.
To who? To the community, to the public?
Yeah, to the public.
But there's no case on this girl.
An ongoing investigation by Home Affairs has found prima facie indications of fraud committed by Chidimma Adetshina's mother. The Department of Home Affairs herewith provides an update on the ongoing investigation into the citizenship of Miss Chidimma Adetshina, a contestant in the upcoming Miss SA event. The reason for the ongoing nature of the investigation is that its scope has broadened since the original request received from the organizers of Miss SA based on the information uncovered by Home Affairs investigators thus far. The department nonetheless provides this update to the public based on that official request and consent. We will provide a final update once the investigation is concluded. Upon receiving the request for investigation, the department deployed every resource at its disposal to establish the truth. This has included archival research, visits to hospitals, and site visits to verify information. From the information we have uncovered thus far, the Department of Home Affairs can indicate that prima facie reasons exist to believe that fraud and identity theft may have been committed by the person recorded in Home Affairs records as Chidimma Adetshina's mother. Adetshina herself could not have participated in the alleged unlawful actions of her mother, as she was an infant at the time when the activities took place in 2001. An innocent South African mother, whose identity may have been stolen as part of the alleged fraud, suffered as a result because she could not register her child. The department has broadened its investigation to identify and pursue any officials involved in the alleged scheme and is obtaining legal advice on the implications of the alleged fraudulent activity on Adetshina's citizenship status. And finally, upon the completion of the investigation, Home Affairs intends to press criminal charges and convict all implicated parties. This case, which stems from alleged fraudulent activities committed 23 years ago, highlights the urgent need for the digital modernization of Home Affairs applications, adjudication, and verification processes to insulate the department against fraudulent interference, similar to the reforms undertaken at the South African Revenue Service in the late 2000s. The case also highlights the reason for the department's blocking of certain duplicate IDs, and that the court-ordered unblocking of these documents must be handled with caution. Throughout this process, Home Affairs is guided by our commitment to both restoring and upholding the rule of law as well as the rights of all parties.
She's contesting a pageant that she's going to be the face of the public. Why is it? It's
the
like
pageant should have said you don't qualify because you're not a South African.
But then what if the pageant is doing all this thing with the intention of trying to cause a revolt among us, the locals?
So if it's done with the intentions, we need to look at the owners, the people who run the pageants.
Yes,
so what I'm coming back is the people, these white people who came with the borders and everything.
Yes.
They're doing that conquer and divide strategy. They because right now there's a reason the borders are not that tight.
Sure.
They are allowing them to come legally or illegally.
Let's talk about this thing, because as much as now we are seeing that there is a chaos on social media where people are now saying no, the girl cannot continue, she needs to be disqualified because of so many reasons, and then we are saying, let's give example. In rugby we had the beast, Tawarira. And then in so many other fields, we also have foreigners. In Parliament, we've had the likes of Natasha Mazone, whose parents was not from here.
Exactly.
Your Helen Zeal, we don't even know where they come from, but there they are in Parliament. But then are we now going to allow this to go for how long? Because as much as we want to stop it now, it means we are kind of preventing such a thing from happening in the near future.
I feel like this is a stereotypical point of view. We are looking at this like there are no South Africans in Mozambique. We're looking at this like there are no South Africans in Zimbabwe.
They are. There are
people who went there maybe on businesses,
Yes.
and then they are raising families there,
Sure.
and then their kids are participating in
Yes,
sports that's
yes.
in those
Yeah,
countries. Even internationally,
Sure.
everywhere,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things are happening, and they are allowing these people to participate. Imagine your child is in primary. They
Sure.
say, no, you can't perform in the sports. You are not South African. Oh, no, you can't perform. She's in primary. Your daughter.
Yes.
No, you can't perform in the pageants. You're not South African.
But then, what does that do?
What does it do?
It means that there is now too much competition for the locals. I'm telling you, bro.
What is local?
Let's look at it in this example. She wins the pageant. Then she goes around touring the country. Who does she relate to? Who are the nearest people that she relates to? Who are her people that she's going to celebrate that with? Is it us or her Nigerians?
So do you think so?
Who are here?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
So, like, you think she's gonna go to Nigeria and say, "Ooh, I'm South Africa's Miss Beauty pageant"? Like, I don't see a point celebrating that to Nigerians, like as in I won a trophy. I'm South Africa's highest trophy or something like that. Like it doesn't make sense to do that. So like I'm just looking at it, and in a personal point of view, like I didn't choose to be born here. I didn't choose my parents. And then right now I'm going to school everywhere, and I'm seeing these competitions going on. Now you're a child. You are a child, bro. You just wanna live your life, and then now everybody now come through and saying because you're not South African anything. Okay, I was born here.
No, I'm just kidding, bro. Fuck everyone who's saying she mustn't stand for the contest.
But
I'm just saying. I just wanted to get your view on that, so that I hear what you actually have to say about. But then fuck everyone who's saying she's not South African.
Yeah, bro.
It wasn't a decision to be born here.
Exactly.
And just because she's born to parents probably who are not from South Africa, or one of the parents being a South African, doesn't mean she doesn't stand to compete where all the South Africans are competing. And I feel like, before her, there was this other lady, Wang. I don't know her name. Wang, Chinese, kind of descendant of the Chinese, or a descendant of the Chinese. It wasn't her first time even this year competing in the pageant. There was never any backlash. Even this year, she competed and then she lost out. And then now let me finish. She's been eliminated. There was no backlash. But then guess who the backlash is against?
A black person.
Maybe, I've been saying this to people. Maybe there's just, in South Africa, like they said, we do not have a foreigner problem, or a problem that is really where we really hate foreigners. It's just that there is a Nigerian and a Zimbabwean problem. Because I feel like as much as she's from Nigeria, had she been from Zimbabwe as well, looking at the current dynamics of what is happening, there was going to be backlash as well.
Exactly.
But let's say if she was from Botswana, let's say if she was from Lesotho, Namibia, there wasn't going to be this.
There wasn't.
Backlash.
And you know how funny that is. We talk about the competition for the normal South African. Mara, there's a whole lot of foreign business in South Africa. What about the normal South African businesses? They're now making us compete with foreign businesses.
That one, I think it stopped.
They're making us compete with foreign businesses. They're making us compete with businesses from all over the world, and not even in Africa. Mara, we don't say anything about that. We don't complain. Hey, bro, you guys are you're monopolizing this and that, but you want to complain about just the girl competing for Miss Beauty pageant? Bro. And like for me, how I look at this, bro, because now they conquered and divided us now. Like we lost the whole point of maybe being African, like now we're divided. Imagine if we came together, the type of dressing code.
But again, bro, taking no sides, I feel like for the majority of South Africans, is hence I say maybe we do not have a foreigner problem, or a problem that is related to foreigners. We're not really xenophobic. What we are is we just have a Nigerian and a Zimbabwean problem.
What does that mean?
Now, a Nigerian and a Zimbabwean problem goes like this, where most of our problems in South Africa, or maybe let's say look at crime. look at the rate of drug abuse, and then you look at where the source is. Who starts this thing? Who's engaging in this kind of activities?
The majority
drugs
of
in South Africa, we say Nigerians are responsible for this much drugs that are everywhere. Crime, we come and say,
but can I say,
no, let me finish. The Zimbabweans who can easily cross their border to South Africa and they are not documented, then they are the root cause of most of our problems. And so then now, even someone who came here fairly, but then is from those two countries, whenever they try to do something in a legal way, still we feel like it's a problem.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I don't feel like we have a Nigerian and a Zimbabwean problem.
Yeah.
I think we have a policing problem. Because can I say something?
Say.
Drugs will not come into the country without the police knowing.
But
Look
I
at something.
get
Like
that.
there's
Yeah.
now. So now they are giving us a type of people to hate.
Yeah.
Now they are giving us now the police, whoever, you remember there was this police,
bro,
they remember with crime, like let me show you something. Even with crime, the Mozambican people, okay, they're saying they're causing more crime, they come through the hang, but number one, bro, who is making the borders weak?
I get
in
that.
Lesotho, bro, you can just jump a mountain and get into South Africa. So now the system is directly knowing where the problem is. When people do crimes in the country, they're gonna run and they come here. It is the government that is letting them. So we all these problems, even South Africans, they steal. Even South Africans, they sell drugs. Even South Africans, they murderers.
Let me tell
you understand?
Let me tell you something on that. South Africans do steal, eh? But then I don't know whether you're missing my point. I'm saying we have a Nigerian problem. Hence, we end up generalizing everything that Nigeria is associated with drugs in South Africa. Zimbabwe is associated with crime in South Africa. So these two, robberies and hijackings. So these two countries, even if someone is here legally, someone is here trying to do things in a proper way, still, as long as we find that they are from these two countries, already there is a problem. There's an existing problem, not with the person, with the actual person. But then the majority of the people who are from that country in here, what are they doing?
Like, I cannot generalize. Mara, personally, like, I'm just looking at maybe the whole general African problem. And I'm looking at everyone. It's the same thing as why African people go to France, to go to places like that. It's because they struggle in their own town, and then they're looking for better opportunities in the place that they had. There's better opportunities.
Let me ask you just one question. Do you think if it was a South African in Nigeria, in Chidimma's position, what do you think the Nigerian nationals will be saying? The citizens of Nigeria.
Nigerian guys love South African girls.
Bro, loving them and having them be the face of the country is different. It's just like us.
Wait, bro. Like, I think it's the girls who will be jealous, bro. Like, why would you hate on a girl, bro?
Imagine a whole 5 years.
If she's fine, she's fine, bro. She's born here and she's super fine. So this just shows when two African cultures meet can produce, bro.
You haven't seen the rivalry.
Two African cultures.
Between the two countries. Look at even Amapiano, what's happening to Amapiano.
Nigerians
are claiming Amapiano as theirs.
That's just politics, bro.
Politics,
bro. Like
the pageant is political.
Like
even that pageant.
That's why
I
just feel like
check it. The pageant, the Miss SA pageant, is political. Is a political tool now.
Like, man, I'm just thinking, like, it's all distractions. There is no reason to fight over these things. There is no reason to fight, bro.
But already the people are fighting.
No, that means we need to educate people what it means to be African, what it means to live in this continent of Africa.
What makes you think you're gonna educate people? Pella, it's like now. Look, it's like now saying you want South Africans to understand a certain a situation that the Nigerians will not understand.
Originally, every South African was not a South African. Every single one of you,
everyone was displaced everywhere. Exactly. That's the thing.
Now wanna blame young Chidimma just because she was born here to foreign people.
Now on that one, that's what I'm saying.
So that's why
but then
people need re-education.
Maybe as much as you say we need education, we also need our laws to clarify certain things, because there are so many loopholes today that people can exploit. And not just only in this situation. The same way you say we accepted Mtawarira, it means that we were supposed to have questions then.
Yeah, that's what my point is. Apart from them maybe clarifying things, they have to maybe tighten up things in terms of doing their fucking job. Now, the borders are weak. We can't be complaining about crime left, right, and center, complaining about those people in mines, or Mapara and all those guys committing crime, raping our people, while the borders. Let's leave the people and let's first focus on the borders. Now, you talk about Nigeria's coming with
border
drugs.
issue, we spoke about it before. I told you that the border thing is beyond the officials that we have. The millionaires and billionaires in this country, the business people are actually happy with the way the borders are.
So that's my whole. So now the reason they're happy now, it's all to make us better.
That's why I'm saying everything is political. That's why I'm saying even the pageant itself is political.
It's just to stir up the black people. You won't hear any white people debating about this. It's to distract us. She's Miss South Africa, not Miss Black Africa. She's Miss South Africa. What about the white South Africans?
Chidimma,
You won't hear white people debating about it. It's meant to distract us. This is all. That's what I'm saying. We are really complaining.
Yeah. But then it comes back again to what I was saying. If the lady was from Botswana, South Africa doesn't have any problem with Botswana. I feel like the South African people were going to accept her with warm hands and say she is one of us. But then for the mere fact that she's from Nigeria, it's hard for South Africans to accept her, looking at the current situation that exists between South Africa and Nigeria. And I'm saying with regards to the other things that are committed by Nigerians who are in the country. So now what we South Africans have gone to the extent of thinking everything related to Nigeria is bad. We cannot have a Miss South Africa who has Nigerian roots. Because the thing is, that's why I'm saying I'm not going to take sides. I want to understand both of these sides. The side,
I think
you have taken your side.